Hi, this is Shotgun Tom Kelly, and now that I have your attention, you wanted to be close to him in the dugout during his impressive 15-year major league career because he was always watching, listening, and looking for an edge. Now, Kurt Bavacqua brings that edge to Dirty Kurt's Dugout, where you can listen, watch, and be a part of the most honest, informative baseball show available today. Now, here's Kurt.
What's up, folks? God, just about ready to go in here. I get a notification on my phone that our car's battery level is low. I've never gotten one of those before, so that's pretty cool. I have a GPS locating system on the car other than the one in the factory, because by the time they find out where your car is, it's already in a container somewhere off to Saudi Arabia or wherever the hell else it's going to go, or going to a chop shop. But with these devices, the device that I have in my car in particular, if you get a notification that your car's been moved and it's not authorized, you can call the police immediately and find out right where it is. And you can tell the police they can share in the website and see the car driving down the street. So with a thief in your car, you're sharing this information with the local police department. If, I just now noticed, if things look a little bare back here and there's a lot of stuff over here, is because there are a lot of things over here and it's bare back here because we had a carpet cleaning service come in and steam clean and deep clean the white carpet. So on to what we usually come to. I got to see your comments. I need you today to tell me your comments on certain things that we'll talk about. But first, thank you to Tom Drake at Lacima Oil and the local Chevron stores down in the San Diego area. As a matter of fact, I filled up my tank yesterday at Balboa Avenue in Genesee. I went down to see my son play at Mesa College in the summer collegiate program that he's in. And I was right at Balboa in Genesee, and I went over there and got some gas. Got to take care of my buddy Tom. He takes care of us. And also Tony and Cindy out at Hacienda Casablanca in El Cajon, 700 North Johnson, as you can see on your screen. If you're ever out there, tell them that Kurt and producer Joe sent you. And of course, my thank you to producer Joe. There's my phone going off again. Let me see what this message is, because now I got it on my mind that something's going on with the car. So, okay. All of a sudden I'm getting, you know what? I updated my phone this morning, and now I get notifications that I didn't have before. If you notice that on your phone, I guess that does happen. And I have analog phone. It's not an iPhone. So it's a constant battle in my house because everyone else has iPhones. A lot of people actually have iPhones. They've got you all tricked. I have Samsung, and it's perfect. I don't have to buy different cords for it every year when a new model comes out. So we all know about the AllStar festivities. I know there's a lot of eyes on, especially in Southern California, on the Padres. If you're a Padre fan and the type of baseball that they're playing right now, we'll talk about that in a minute. But the AllStar festivities start on Saturday Yeah, Saturday in L.A. There's the Santa Monica Pier, I believe, is it's set up like the Del Mar Fair, with all kinds of stuff going on around the city of LA, revolving around the AllStar Game and the AllStar festivities that are going on around it. I tell you what, Major League Baseball has done a heck of a job, not only selling itself, but also selling the game and selling, period, a lot of things during this All-Star week in Los Angeles. The tickets are crazy prices, and so are a lot of other things are crazy prices that I love it. My wife just started to come in the door, and she realized that she wasn't supposed to, and she hightailed it back out. But it starts on Saturday with the All-Star Futures game at 7:00 on Peacock. Yeah, that's a channel. We'll talk about this cable TV business in a minute, but that's a cue for Joe to get it ready to put it up on the screen. On Sunday now they're implementing the NFL draft, or at least this year they're going to implement day one of the MLB draft into the talk around everything that's going on within the All-Star game. That's on Sunday. And I would imagine it's going to be on MLB Network. Monday, of course, is the Home Run Derby. Can Pete Alonso win 3 in a row? We'll see. That lasts a little bit too long for me. I do like it, but not totally. Not totally. I think they've gone a little overboard with it. And I think that's the reason a lot of the players don't want any part of it. On Tuesday, if we can just slide that over a little bit, Joe, on Tuesday is the red carpet.
You're going to have to give me a second to fix that. I'll be right back. I'm going to fix that and make it look a lot better for you.
It was fine.
Sorry about that.
I just want the people to get an idea.
I can't move it.
Okay, well, just as soon as I talk about the game, then you can throw it. There you go. So the red carpet event is on at 2 Eastern time in the MLB Network, on the MLB Network on Tuesday. And then, of course, the game is on Wednesday. So they have festivities for this All-Star game for Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, leading up to the game that's on Wednesday. Wow. So I mentioned that I was going to say something about cable TV. So now I can do a little rant about DirecTV. This is my screen. I believe it was the day before yesterday when I just turned on MLB Network, as I usually do most days, and the White Sox Guardians game was on. This is MLB Network, which is a part of the package that I pay a couple of $100 a month for. 213 on DirecTV, and I'm sure it's that way around the entire county. MLB Network is channel 213. I could not watch the White Sox and Guardians game here in San Diego. This isn't a trick. I didn't get somebody from Chicago or Cleveland to send this to me and say, I'm just going to bounce on DirecTV. That wasn't the case at all. This is from my television in my living room here in North County, San Diego. When I turned on the MLB Network, how in the hell can I not get a White Sox Guardian game in North County, San Diego? I asked that to MLB Network. I know none of you have the answer to that, because if you can figure out cable television, it's a money grab. And it's not just cable TV, because they've got their hands tied by Major League Baseball, which has the different contracts with the different companies now. We've all seen what happened with Apple this year, where Friday night, I just found this out the other day, and I'll tell you why. I'm taking my family, entire family, to the Padre D-backs game tomorrow night at Petco. I got 8 tickets. My wife texted me and she said she did just talk to Kirsten, who is my daughter-in-law, and that we're going to need an extra ticket for Tony. For your information, Tony is my older son, older than the 2 that I have living with me here, the 21 and 18-year-old, that works at Petco Park every night. He runs the TV truck that actually puts the games on your television screen. And all the people that work in that truck with him, for him, he's the E1, number 1 engineer. If something goes wrong with a camera during the game, he's the guy that goes and fixes it. If something goes wrong with the transmission during the game, he's the guy that's responsible for fixing it. He and the people that work on this truck put up all the graphics. They are responsible for giving Don and Mud all the information that they have. I'm talking about Don Orsillo and Mark Grant. And to get back to the ticket, I said, Tony doesn't need a ticket. He's going to be at the game. They go, no, he's not working that night. It's an Apple game. So tomorrow night, don't expect to see the game on channel 694 DirecTV Bally's, which used to be Fox Sports San Diego. I don't know how the Bally deal happened, but now it's Bally's. So now we have 9 Bavaquas that are going to hit the turnstiles at Petco to watch the game. Who else is going to be involved in this All-Star game? You know, the thing that jumped out at me were the fact that, and you know what, they might have been named to the team today for all I know, and I haven't seen it, but guys like Josh Bell and Ty France and Austin Riley and Freddie Freeman and Will Smith, the catcher from the Dodgers, not on the All-Star roster. Naturally, the manager gets to pick out reserves, and I'm sure most of these guys, if not all of them, will be on the team when it's all said and done. But we will see. We will see. Have you heard the latest with Toronto? The situation with teams traveling into Canada, if they're not vaccinated, they're not welcome. And as crazy as it may sound, there's players that have elected not to be vaccinated. Whether you're for or against it, doesn't matter. Incidentally, the Padres are losing 8-5 in the 7th inning as of the last report that I got. So I want to keep you updated on that because I know the Padre game is going on. JT Realmuto, the catcher for the Philadelphia Phillies, evidently consulted with his doctors, and the decision was made. He doesn't need the COVID vaccine. At least this is what JT is telling the team and its physicians. And decided that what he has to put in his body for a little bit of money, a little bit of money, is his decision. Again, I'm not going to get into the political aspect of this thing. I'm just talking about the personal decision as to whether to get the vaccine or not. So while the Phillies are in Toronto, JT Realmuto is going to lose $260,000 because of his election not to get the vaccine. I tell you, that's going to make me get the shot more than the threat of people not telling me what to do, because I'm sure it has something to do with both of those things. JT's making $23 million over the next 4 years. You can say he can kind of afford $260,000, but still, $260,000 is a lot of money. I mean, that's a new Maserati. Plus, an upgraded one. But he's not the only one. Alec Bohm, Kyle Gibson, Aaron Nola from the Phillies are not going to make that trip. But listen to this. Listen to this. The Kansas City Royals have a 4-game series in Toronto. 10 players. 10 players. Whit Merrifield, Benintendi, Dozier, Cam Gallagher, MJ Melendez, Brady Singer. Got to look at this list. I can't remember all these guys. Brad Keller, Michael Taylor, Dylan Coleman. They're on the restricted list for 4 games while the team is in Toronto. This is starting to affect the scheduling of Major League Baseball. I don't know what to do about it. You certainly can't call Canada to the carpet and say, allow our players in. Or, even worse, if you're going to do that, your team's going to have to play somewhere in the United States, which is what the Blue Jays did up to a certain point last year when they finally returned and played their home games in Toronto. They were playing all of their games, home and away. That's why I expected them to do so well this year. And we'll go over the standings in both the American League and the National League in a couple of minutes. But first, let's get to the Padres. Guy, you know what? This tailspin began almost a month ago. And it began in Denver, where they were swept by the Rockies. Now, they came home and won a couple of games in a row against some teams, but then they just went back to not playing very hardy baseball, let's say. I think this recent skid really culminated on Tuesday night. Today's Thursday. They played a game on Monday and lost it. They played a game on Tuesday and not on Monday. They started a game, the series in Colorado on Tuesday night. They had Monday off, and it was terrible. I mean, it was terrible. It was so terrible. There were 3 or 4 different people in the clubhouse claiming responsibility that the game was on them. And one of them was Bob Melvin, who, sure, the manager is going to throw himself under the bus for his team, but no, he can't take the blame other than the fact that it's an organizational thing, and he hasn't been with this organization long enough. And it couldn't be because Luke Voigt has only been with this organization for a few months. So his terrible base running couldn't have come from the Padres minor league system. But Asteri Ruiz, that's a whole different story. Now, this kid has got a chance to be a hell of a player. I mean, he really does. But he can't run the bases like he did on Tuesday night. And I got to tell you, today, even though he kind of sparked some stuff going on, he can't be stealing bases or attempting to steal in those situations where the club is down. Because as fast as he is, he's going to get thrown out like he did the other night. Luke Floyd got thrown out on a fly ball to left field. He was on second base and tried to tag up the third. Very seldom, unless the outfielder is going away from the play to catch the ball, can a runner tag up from second and go to third on a ball to left field. This was really, even though it was 5 feet, 6 feet from the warning track, this was just a routine, lazy fly ball that the outfielder had time to get in position to catch the ball over his throwing arm and come up firing the ball to third base. Luke Voigt was out. Matt Williams just turned around and started towards the dugout, shaking his head. And then in the same inning, Ruiz got thrown out trying to steal third base with 2 outs. Down 3-0. He stole third base today, down 3-0 in the third inning. And like I said, it worked out, but it's still not a good play, folks. It's still not a good play. If a ball gets away from a catcher and goes 15, 20 feet away from him, you go. You have to absolutely be positive that you're going to make it to the next base in that situation. And that situation being if you're not the tying run and you've got a pretty good idea that you're going to steal, that you're going to be able to steal the base, that you can go. Now, a guy like this, the Ruiz kid, he's got a little more slack than a lot of us had. And they're going to give him a little more slack. But that's where the mental and the smart part of the game comes into play. He has to know when and when not to run. And I'll tell you why. It's very simple. It's not that this kid can probably steal most bases that he tries to steal. I mean, I think he had like 60 steals down in El Paso before he was recalled a few days ago. But with replay now, all it takes is a little coming off the base. If that infielder keeps that glove on you and you transfer hands and he's got the glove on you and they see it, you're going to be out even though you stole the base by 2 feet, 3 feet, like he did today. But he did a good job of staying on the bag, making sure. But a guy like this that's so fast, if it's a fast infield, he'll slide right over the bag. And he'll have made it by 5 feet. But guess what? He's out. And it turns into a really bad look, the way it did the other night. This San Diego ball club is having a tough time. They've got a 3-game series against the D-backs when they come back into town before the All-Star break. It probably couldn't come at a better time. I was dreading this road trip for them to Denver because they just don't play good baseball in Denver against the Rockies, who have won 13 of 14 at Coors Field. 13 of 14 games. That's hard to do. That's hard to do, especially when you've got the pitching staff that the Padres have. Wow. You know, one of the roster moves that that the Padres made recently to make room for different things that they did was they DFA'd Sergio Alcantara. And, you kind of go, okay, kid's young, he'll go down to AAA and put up some good numbers because he was hitting about 180, 190, not getting a chance to play every day. It's hard for a young kid to come in and play in that situation. So they sent him out. And sure enough, he's back in a major league uniform, having been selected by the Arizona Diamondbacks off waivers from the San Diego Padres, which led me to look into this kid a little bit because I went, wow, that was pretty quick. And then I found out he's 25, almost 26 years old. I was thinking he was maybe 21, 22. And I'll tell you why I thought that. In 2012, think about that for a minute. That's 10 years ago. He was signed by the Arizona Diamondbacks. Yeah, I said he was 25, 26. Added the Dominican Republic. He spent 5 years in the D-backs organization before he was traded to the Detroit Tigers. And you know who he was traded for? J.D. Martinez. Sergio Alcantara got traded for J.D. Martinez from the D-backs to the Detroit Tigers. He played for Detroit for a couple of years in their minor league organization. And in 2021, he started to move around a little bit. He got claimed off waivers by the Cubs from Detroit in like May. Or March, I'm sorry. And then in May, he was selected off waivers by the Diamondbacks again. So the D-backs, a full 10 years after they signed this kid, added the Dominican Republic from the time he was 15. Claimed him back off waivers. And then that same year, the San Diego Padres picked him up. And then when the Padres sent him out, the D-backs picked him up again. So Sergio Alcantara, if you're a fan, is going to be at Petco Park this weekend with the Arizona Diamondbacks. I pointed this out because I cannot understand how clubs get away with the international draft and international selection of players from other countries, but yet it is so precise and regimented here in the United States as far as the draft and guys having to go to school for so long and guys having to be enrolled in colleges and they're not eligible for the draft, how they can continue to sign 14, 15, and 16-year-old kids in these Latin countries and let them just play in their minor league systems. Fill a roster spot, and if this kid puts up some numbers, we'll bring him to the big club. That's the way it is in the game. I will leave you this week with this thought as soon as I get some water. You see, it was like I told you last week. When I get a little excited, I start coughing. I get choked up. So if there's one thing I can leave you with, it's this for this week. My pressure in any walk of life is privilege. And what I mean by that is that things are expected of you if you feel pressure. So know that the people that are expecting things of you think a lot of you, and you shouldn't feel that pressure. Joe, let's take a quick look at the standings. And then we'll let everybody go on their way. Again, I want to thank Tony and Cindy out at Hacienda Casablanca, out in El Cajon, and also Tom Drake down at La Cima Oil, one of the locations that they own, the Chevron dealers, is the one that I frequent on Balboa and Genesee in Kearney Mesa. Can you believe the amount of distance that the New York Yankees have opened up in the Eastern Division of the American League? I mean, that's all but over, but you look at those other teams, Tampa Bay, Boston, and Toronto, they got a chance to all be in the postseason, even though they're 14, 15 and a half, and 15 and a half games out of first place. And don't blink. But the Baltimore Orioles are only 2 games out of the wild card game. This is the wild card standings, by the way, for all of you out there that didn't understand that move that Joe just did. Tampa Bay's a game and a half up. The rest of them are tied. And then Baltimore is only 2 games out. That, to me, is amazing. It is absolutely amazing. And the other thing that's amazing to me is that the Los Angeles Angels are 11 games under 500. That's hard for me to believe. So it looks like the Twins right now, the Astros for sure, and the New York Yankees. And I got to tell you something, folks, that are back on the East Coast and all Yankee fans, that it's going to be a disappointing year by the time it's all said and done. And I'll tell you why. Because the New York Yankees, in order to get into the World Series, have to go through the Houston Astros. And they're not going to do it. Let's look at the National League, and then we will let you get on with your life for today. Next week, Bruce Bochy is going to be with me. We'll find out what the Boch has been up to. He's living in Nashville. I'll let you in on that secret. And I'm sure Boch will also. Almost just as amazing as we look at the National League standings as the American League ones, in some instances, are the gap that the Los Angeles Dodgers have opened, besides playing good baseball, have opened in the National League West. The San Diego Padres are 10 games over 500 now, 8.5 games back, whereas a couple of weeks ago, they were a game and a half out. That's how quick it can turn around. So don't think that it couldn't turn around the other way, because it can. I think the Brewers and the Cardinals are going to continue to battle it out in the Central. And I feel the same way over in the East with the amazing recovery that the Atlanta Braves have made from the beginning of the season to where they are now. And they're only 2.5 games in back of the New York Mets, who at one time had a 10 or 11 game lead. It's been fun. It really has been fun with the turnaround of some of these teams, especially the teams that were playing so poorly. And that being the Baltimore Orioles, who I've pointed out already. And then the other team is the Cincinnati Reds. They're playing pretty good baseball right now. And you got to give them credit for just not calling it in and throwing the glove on the field every game and saying, you know what, the hell with this. Ownership doesn't care about us. And we're just going to put in our tank, collect our money, and we don't care whether we win or lose. Well, evidently these guys do, and they've proven that. So I want to thank you all for tuning in. We will do Bochy next week. Same time, same station. So in other words, 3:15 on Thursday. And I think I've already got Broach to commit to that. If there is a change, all it will be is from Thursday to Friday, but we will let you know early in the week. But for right now, it is Bruce Bochy. Next Thursday, we're going to talk to him on naturally his San Francisco Giants, what has gone wrong with them. We will, and because he's still employed by the Giants, by the way, he still has somewhat of a title within that organization. But we'll tell you what else Boch is up to. I'll give you a little hint. He had dinner. You know what? That dinner's tonight. He's having dinner with a prospective owner of an expansion team. Yep. So you can sleep on that for the next week. Keep track of me on Instagram and Facebook. But we'll be back with Boch next Thursday. I want to thank Joe, producer Joe, that is, for all of his help. I want to thank you guys for tuning in. Thank everybody for watching Dirty Kurt's Dugout. And until next week, I say adios. Enjoy the All-Star Game.